You are listening to the Bills Blitzkrieg podcast. I'm Jake, here with our multimedia maestro Fred. Unfortunately, my co-host Zach is unable to be here with us this week, but we carry on. Got some great topics to talk about today. Particularly the high and noon of the free agency period has cooled significantly to more of a warm evening of low-cost possibilities. So I'd really like to look into the roster as it is now, see who they have, what possible holes there are. Spoiler alert, I don't think there's many holes. I really like this roster as it is. And I think Bean has been making some wise moves. A lot of continuity. A lot of talent, a lot of homegrown talent that they've kept at One Bills Drive. And along with that, there's plenty of young and underrated talent on the roster. So I'm going to dig into who I think, give you guys my hot takes on who the breakout candidates are going to be in 2021. With the assistance of...
Can't wait.
You should be very excited.
I'm fucking... Dude.
I know.
I need to put on different pants.
I know how much you think about the Buffalo Bills week to week. So I know you were here particularly just to hear my hot takes on the Bills breakout candidates.
Honestly, you're the only reason I'm here, so...
Uninformed Fred, you're going to be number one Bills fan. Just give it another week.
We'll see. I'm into it.
But
I subscribe to their Reddit, so I'm now following the Buffalo Bills Reddit. It's happening.
We got to get a shot on. I keep meaning to go on and make like a Bills Blitzkrieg Reddit account, but I keep forgetting. I love Reddit. The Reddit guys are on Twitter all the time. Always really cool.
You know what? I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to make it, and then it's going to be mine.
What are you going to talk about on there?
I don't know. About how much I'm going to blackmail you into buying it from me because I own it.
There you go.
Yeah.
And thank you to everyone who had some great responses on Twitter. We're going to shout you out a little later. But first things first, as is tradition, we got to crack some cold ones. Got anything you're sipping on over there?
Yes. This just in, I went down to the local market and I was asking the guy behind the counter if they got anything fresh, anything new to really switch things up, and he recommended this generic Pix brand lemon lime seltzer. It's pretty nice. You guys got a little bit of a crisp there, not too much. There we go.
Ooh. You look really fancy drinking it.
Thank you.
You look like a rich man that owns a
fancy.
Subaru and I don't know, writes periodicals about gardening.
Damn straight. My Birkenstocks are in the mail right now. I haven't picked them up.
Fancy some bitch. Well, I'm being a little bit more lowbrow. I'm a good old beer drinking American. I didn't want you guys to think I was some basic bitch just constantly drinking IPAs. I was going to crack out the Resurgence Surge IPA. It's my favorite local one. It's one of the best around these parts. But, I wanted you guys to think I was fancy and had a bit more eclectic tastes. So, I went out and got the Trogs Passion Fruit and Guava Tart Ale. It's very elegant.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
It is. I don't know if I've even had it yet, so this will be the first impression sip.
Tart Ale.
Smells weedy.
Is it dry?
Smells weedy. It's got a good... Well, you can tell...
Wheaty or weedy?
Like wheat, like they use wheat for
Oh. Yeah, man, it smells weedy.
Nope, it's nice and tart. You can taste the guava.
Nice and tart.
Well done. By Trogs. Always a classic.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd have to try that, but making kombucha, I feel like that would kind of go hand in hand. Nice little tart flavor.
Yeah, it's nice and light, too. It's only 4.5%, so I'm not going to get tipsy halfway through today like I usually do. All around good choice. Nice and fruity, light, crisp, a little bit tart, as is advertised. But we can get on to our Around the League segment. Some interesting stuff. A particularly bizarre story cropped up late last week. Deshaun Watson, by and through this attorney called Tony Busby, is being charged with, I think last time I read, there was 13 civil lawsuits filed in Texas courts. And somewhere around 22 accusers, all of which are Jane Does, as far as I know. Deshaun Watson outright denies all allegations. He has even, I think he accused the attorney of some unscrupulous money-seeking behavior, trying to take advantage of the situation now that he is pursuing a trade, has been the topic of many headlines, is being a bit opportunistic. There is some indication that he could be. There's alleged that he requested a lowball.
This wouldn't be the first time something like this has happened, though, right?
It's hard to say because most of these cases get settled out of court. So, I mean, we had famously, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant was accused of rape. Ben Roethlisberger was accused of rape.
Interesting.
Quite a while ago. But they all get settled, right? Because when you're a high-profile figure and someone is pursuing a civil case, now this is, if you guys aren't familiar with the court system, there's two different types of law. There's civil lawsuits, which is where someone's requesting damages to be paid to them for a wrong to them. So if Rick stole my car, I would go and say, hey, I'm suing you for the cost of my car. Right? And you can do this for emotional damages, physical damages, etc. In this situation, I think he's being charged with what would be akin to abusive sexual contact in the federal court systems. This is juxtaposed to a criminal case where you're being charged by the state for committing a crime.
Right.
But the facts right now...
Interesting.
Yeah. There's definitely a pattern with the case. Several masseuses.
Have we heard directly from any of the masseusi?
Masseusi, is that the word? I'm struggling for it.
It sounds like something.
Masseuses. All the masseuses. No, they're all Jane Does unless something has developed. I haven't read any articles on it in a few days. But everything is coming through this lawyer, which in and of itself, protecting an alleged victim's identity is not suspicious at all.
Yeah, not right now.
You don't want... A lot of people aren't going to want their accusations.
So here's the thing. It's hard to even talk about this without sounding like, like you're choosing one side or the other, too. So I would just like to make myself clear that, I'm just probing for information, and I just want to kind of know a little bit more about this, because it's just kind of strange. But you see what I'm saying here is, this very well could be true. You know what I mean? He could definitely have done something. So it'd be interesting to hear all the facts to see if that is true or otherwise. Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm not sure. This is probably another one that's going to be settled out of court. Deshaun Watson and his agents don't want his name dragged through any of these allegations for far too long. They want it to be cleaned up, pushed away.
Doesn't feel good either way. That's not like that's a lose regardless. You know what I mean? Just to look at his reputation, I guess, right now. One, horrible if he did do it, but two, even if he didn't, it's like now this has happened. You know what I mean? Like, it gets settled out of court. How do you know what the truth is?
Yeah, we usually don't. A lot of these records are sealed. Right. There's a lot of non-disclosure agreements. They will say, we do not agree to admission of guilt. Those kind of things, all those legal terms. But I mean, what was particularly bizarre about this one stood out, and I've been in and out of the legal field with my work, and I follow a lot of these cases. The law is a general interest of mine. The conduct of the lawyer, Tony Busby, is particularly eyebrow-raising. I've never seen, even in high-profile cases, where the lawyer has put himself above the case, has used Instagram to such an extent where it's like the primary modus operandi for the lawsuit, which was...
That's strange.
Yeah. And in this Instagram, he responds to Deshaun Watson, and he doesn't even really address the allegations. He talks about his working-class upbringing, being a Marine, Navy SEAL, or some sort of Special Forces operation.
Oh, the attorney or whatever is bringing this up about himself?
And he's like...
Interesting.
Yeah, his response is just like bragging about how like a cool guy Special Forces dude he is, and like he's like, I have this keen intellect.
I see why you're getting a weird taste about this, because it's weird that you would even have your primary bullhorn go through social media. Like, social media is inherently used to just build clout and build like drama and everything like that. It's not, you don't settle court cases through social media. Like,
no, if anything, it can be considered damaging to the case if he is releasing too much or swaying too much of opinion through public media.
Sure. So, just to talk about I don't even know how you'd classify this. I guess you would know about. So could he be shooting himself in the foot that way though? Like he's like broadcasting the drama. Then would it make it hard to find jurors to even hear the case if there was one, because they couldn't be impartial then because they know about it and now potentially have a formed opinion, or is that, am I thinking too far ahead?
No, it absolutely could. That's always a concern with all high profile legal cases, is trying to establish a jury that can be an impartial arbiter. That's, and even before, and he's out there at minimum it's unprofessional because he's grandstanding. Mm-hmm. I think even to an extent you could call it unethical to use a court case to inflate your own celebrity so obviously, so overtly, using it to improve your brand. It almost seems like he's trying to pursue some sort of political career. He's trying to put his name out there. A lot of like the working class family stuff, the former SF stuff.
How old is this guy?
I don't know. He looked like he's probably in his 40s. Lower 40s.
40s. But they're trying to track ambition on age, you know.
And none of this is...
Just trying
right. Once you hit your 40s, he's in that midlife crisis, wants to go run for Senate. Is that the new midlife crisis now? I mean, and that's not to say anything even about the alleged victims in the case, because we don't even have any information to discuss their credibility. We have accusations on one end, denial on another end. There is a pattern, but the pattern is all being funneled through this lawyer and it's all being parroted by this lawyer.
I feel like I need to read into this now because I too just also want to hear from, like, well, what is their story? Like, I want to hear what they're actually saying. Like, is it something, like, is it reasonable, considerable?
No.
Like, does it sound like he could have done that?
It does sound very reasonable. I mean, he's allegedly is a pattern of paying for a masseuse to come to his home in Texas, give him a massage, and then he forcefully pushes too far to try to get happy ending, and without them comfortable with it. On top of that, on a lighter note, Syracuse just made a Sweet 16, making a little Cinderella run in the NCAA tournament.
What a segue.
Oral Roberts.
The drama. Dude, I thought this was like some sort of cold case we were getting into. Let's hear about the Sweet 16. Here we go. I'll get the confetti.
Oral Roberts in the Sweet 16. Is that a better segue?
Yeah.
Real underdog, 15 seed. Upset 2 top 5 seeds. They're on a roll, man. Definitely an underseeded team by the looks of it. And then Sister Jean and her Blessed Ramblers are proving that God exists, and they're also on a Sweet 16 run. Sister Jean, with her pregame prayers, is catapulting them into hopefully a Elite Eight. I picked them to go to the Elite Eight because I had watched no college basketball this year. Bullshitted my way completely through my bracket, so I'm hoping they make the Elite Eight. That'd be fun.
So, it's funny that you brought Cuse up, because I felt like I was starting to become a little bit of a Cuse fan. Katie dragged me to a few games. Kind of interesting. And
college basketball is really fun, man. I love the sport. It's a lot faster paced than a football game. And the Cuse is always fun. They always have that 2-3 zone, which is stingy. It's been really stingy in the tournament. And it's just fun. It's the young guys, most of them playing for the passion of the game. Some of them playing for NBA contracts.
Right. It's fun to watch people that I definitely know are younger than me be way more athletic than I'm ever going to be. So it's always a good
they're going to make 2 times what we made in the past 5 years as soon as they get out of college. So, that's always fun.
You are, and they can reach the stuff on top of my fridge. So, I mean, let's just be honest. It's cool. Sometimes you go to those games, you see some interesting people. I think the last one I went to, it was either Ryan Seacrest or Ray Romano's brother from Everyone I Love Everyone Loves Raymond. I don't know which one it was. I feel like it was one of those. I think it was Ryan Seacrest or something. One of those guys was there, and I don't know. It was weird. I was like, all right, there we go. This is some game.
I feel like Ray Romano would be a guy that would be at a Syracuse basketball game.
No, his brother, that
guy. Okay. Right, I mean, Italians love college basketball. As a Italian American,
Well,
we all love college basketball. I don't know why. But...
Hey.
Wait, what?
Watch it on the Italians, dude. Easy.
Well, we're all short. Not a very athletic...
Trying to have fans out of Buffalo here. I don't know what are you doing.
Well, not a very athletic demographic, but we love college basketball. I don't think I've known an Italian American over 6 feet tall. But somehow, we all end up being coaches and referees. I bet you about 65% of the college basketball coaches are Italian. And I bet you probably at least 80% of the referees are. Guarantee it. Pull up the stats. I want to see it.
Basketball, huh? Yeah.
Guaranteed.
That'd be interesting. I would dig into that, to be honest with you.
It's a thing. You got Calipari. What's that dude from Louisville? Can't think of his name. The other guy from the other place.
Really selling this point. Yeah, this is convincing.
You know those guys, huh? Dickie V. Dickie V is Italian, huh?
Dickie V.
Mattel, But anyways, I've dragged you guys long enough. I think it's time to show some appreciation to our Twitter followers. What do you think?
Yeah, I guess so. Let's take a look.
I think we've been getting a lot of increased traffic recently, which I'm really happy about. It's been 2 years going.
I think my mom started following. That was good. I think she comments on everything.
As she should. So. We need some familiar interaction here. Get all of our moms. Tell us we need to go to bed early.
All right.
But we've been getting some increased traffic, which is great. 2 years rolling. I think we're starting to kind of create a recognizable name for ourselves, at least for causing some controversy on Twitter, which I guess is worst things you can do. But I put out today... that, now this is going to be a spoiler for the next segment too, Justin Zimmer is my breakout candidate for 2021. A beast. Nice. Workout beast, on the field beast. He stands up everybody he runs into and just pushes them around like a sled. I got some good reactions, particularly at Bill's Mafia Rise. A young gun, just about to graduate high school. Good for him. Keep the nose clean, keep the head down. Seems like a smart kid, because this is what he said to me is...
What's he got to say?
Would be huge for us if him and Epineza ball out next year. Nothing to add. Justin Zimmer and Epineza just eating up quarterbacks. Count me in. I'll pay $100 a ticket for the nosebleeds, man. That's all you need. And actually, I think that's a very real possibility. When I was looking at Justin Zimmer, I watched a little bit of tape today, looked at his statistics, watched every game. He's definitely a guy that capitalizes on limited reps on the field because of his sheer excellent athleticism. And I looked in a little deeper. I didn't even know about this. He was a D2 prospect coming out of Ferris State. I've never even heard of this place. Comes out of Ferris State, doesn't get invited to the combine, has no pro day at this place, begs Michigan to allow him to work out at his pro day, and then just tears it up as the most athletic defensive tackle in the draft that year. Runs like a 4.9 40.
Is this like a movie or something?
It could be. Well, when he goes, he gets 10 sacks next season, which he's going to do for the Buffalo Bills. It's going to be the Rudy story, but for a guy that's 3 times as big.
Yeah, his origin story is pretty good, so I'd watch him because he's probably going to be like a main character or something. He's going to be in the Super Bowls.
Well, I know you don't have any reference point for this, Fred, but his workout stats were incredible on this pro day. He runs a 4.9 440, puts up 44 reps on the bench press, and then I think he runs 7 seconds on the 20 cone and jumps real high too. He's jumping through the roof. He's pushing up weight like he's Hercules. And
he's the bionic
exactly.
man. Have they made sure he was human? Have they checked?
I don't want them to. Well, you don't need no drug test. Let him keep juicing. If he's juicing, I don't care.
Don't put any high-powered magnets near him. It'll mess him up.
Yeah, really high on him. And then at Tonawanda Proud. Tonawanda Proud is his Twitter handle. Regular responder. Thank you for responding regularly, Mr. Tonawanda Proud. Don't know your real name, but one day maybe. He also responded. He added a little on top of that. Tyrell Dodson, another breakout candidate for 2021. I thought that was a pretty astute observation. And that's definitely one that I want to see. Very athletic linebacker who's been killing on special teams, doesn't get a lot of looks, but also looked pretty good on the field when he came in for Milano when he was hurt. Good coverage linebacker, doesn't have the poise, the composure, can be out of his spot sometimes, but you work out some of those mechanical issues, You have a high upside athletic linebacker. I think you can provide quite a bit to the right side of that 4-3. So
is he just a special? He plays special teams, but what was his other position?
Outside linebacker.
Oh, okay.
I didn't actually have to read what.
Well, that kind of plays a little bit into that conversation we were having the other day. About the budget cuts. Essentially, you might want someone who is a good multi-position guy, just for that purpose.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Tyler Matakevich is going to continue to play for the Bills. Has an undisclosed roster extension. I don't think the details have come out yet, but he has taken a pay decrease, but is still probably going to make $1.5 million this year just to play special teams. It'd be nice to have a guy like Tyrell Dotson who can do both. I think would be better.
Right.
You can push away Matekevich's contract. But before I get too carried away, I haven't actually said what Tonawanda Proud said. So,
what does he have to say?
Thank you for your patience, sir. He says, I like it. I like Justin Zimmer as breakout candidate. His is a healthy T-Dots 25 Tyrell Dotson. But also, Zim Zam is up there as a 1B breakout candidate. So, we got two guys. Two high upside guys on the Bills roster. Low cost, young, hungry. I think we're going to see a lot from both of those dudes in 2021. Thank you to Tonawanda Proud and Bills Mafia Rise for their insight. But moving on, that kind of takes me into what the roster is looking like right now. So obviously we still have Josh Allen as the franchise starting quarterback, but excitingly we had a little addition, a little bit of an improvement to the quarterback room with the signing of Mitchell Trubisky. Very good athlete, good arm, not the best decision maker behind the pocket. He's been a bit troubled over there in the Bears organization, but he's definitely a guy that I like he's one of my favorite signings actually of this period because we've all been concerned, as much as we love Matt Barkley and what he's provided to the program, we were a bit concerned about him taking significant snaps over a significant period of time. I think Trubisky, when you fill him in, especially with his athletic gifts, his size, his prototypical size, his arm strength, you can really find a guy that can carry Buffalo through a 6-7 game period without Josh Allen. I think that's pretty smart, especially the way Josh Allen plays the game of football. Very physical, runs through tacklers, doesn't like to be taken down. Yeah.
Hurt.
I mean, we can, just looking back to that one play, it was, who was it? But anyways, he's getting tackled, he didn't pull down, and it looks like his knee got twisted inside. Like, it looks like he just dislocates his knee and pops back out, and he's okay. It was one of many scary hits he took last season, so having that insurance policy for your starting quarterback is smart.
Yeah, it's exciting to have such a key player play like that, but also kind of, not the best mentality to keeping him around. Throwing yourself into combat isn't generally the best. Your throat drops into your stomach when you see that, and he just gets rocked. Mm-hmm. But it's because he's playing so hard, and you can't take it's what makes Josh Allen great, but it's also... He's having fun out there. He's having fun.
And then you still got Fromm and Webb, which I think will be a little bit of a fun battle between them and Trubisky for the number 2 spot. We're going to actually be able to see what Fromm and Webb have on the football field, because I believe we should actually have a preseason. Unless there's some sort of major change with COVID-19, we'll actually be able to see these guys compete. And that's something I'm really looking forward to. And I think they'll have a good option to keep on the practice squad from that group.
Nice.
And as of now, we still have Singletary and Moss leading the backfield. Williams, Wade, and Jones backing them up. We'll probably see one of those guys. Wade or Jones will be waived before the regular season actually starts, but it'll be interesting to see who's going to be the special teams contributor. And then Emmanuel Sanders, that's a big signing. A lot of hot takes on that. I had a pretty hot take last week when we did the pod. I didn't like the signing. You've heard me talk about resource, big snooze button kind of phrase, but resource allocation. I didn't like that as far as how they're spending their money. A lot of people were saying, and obviously being agreed with these people that I disagreed with. So, all hail Brandon Beane. But I didn't think they needed, in addition to that wide receiver room. I was happy going forward with Davis, but...
What was their argument to have, though?
They needed, a legitimate wide receiver, too. So most formations, you're lining up 2 wide receivers. So you have 2 starting wide receivers, more or less.
Right.
Gabriel Davis had 599 receiving yards, 7 touchdowns last season, which I thought showed plenty to make him wide receiver 2. But you can also kind of credit scheme, maybe a little bit of rookie luck, being opened up by Beasley and Diggs on the outside. So I guess there wasn't a lot of confidence he'd be able to come and replicate that great rookie season. So
right, hold it up on his own. Yeah. Kind of needs some, yeah.
He had, Emmanuel Sanders has been a great wide receiver in the NFL for a long time. So there's not too much to, you know exactly what you're going to get. You can get a 700-plus yard receiving guy that's going to snag some touchdowns and run good routes and be a smart veteran and a good leader. So I don't hate the move, but I would have probably liked that money to be spent elsewhere. If I'm spending any money at all, it's $5 million to pay to an aging veteran wide receiver when you already have a great wide receiver group. But hope for all the best in that one.
I think I'm in your boat on that there.
As you should be. As you should always agree with me. I am always right. I am never wrong.
That's why I like talking to you, is because you're never wrong. It's just why I have my own thoughts. I just don't.
No, you don't. Just parrot everything I say. That's what I tell people. Don't think for yourself. Just parrot everything I say. I will never lead you astray.
That's what I tell everybody too. Is just parrot what Jake says.
Don't do that though. Don't do that. Don't really do that. And then into the offensive line, brought back pretty much the whole offensive line from last season. That's awesome. Got into a little bit of a discussion, civil disagreement with the guys who were at Cover 1. Giants of the content creation industry. Much respect for that. But talking about the efficacy of the offensive line, they don't like a lot of the run blocking, which is fair. The run blocking was less than adequate last season. But I'd say when you bring back Dawkins, Bunker, Morse, Feliciano, and Williams, all on team-friendly contracts, parse the stats however you want. That's one of the better pass blocking units in the league. You're going to keep Josh Allen upright for most of that season. So I like that. It doesn't necessarily spell a great season for Singletary and Moss. We'll have to see if maybe some scheme change can benefit that. We'll see if maybe just another year of continuity with all those guys together, not all those changes we saw in 2020, they can actually produce a little bit more efficiency and regularity with the running game. And then defense will look good. Not too many big changes. There was actually just a bunch of re-signings. So they reduced Addison's contract. Butler's back. And then Milano's back. We talked about that last week. My guy, the Greek god biceps Matt Milano, is back. So going to see a bit more of the same defense from last season. I'm happy with that. I thought they were pretty solid, especially later in the season when they started working the scheme a little bit better. And we'll see what kind of additions they bring in. It might be seeing a defensive end first pick of the draft, just following the patterns here. A little bit concerned about the linebacker room. They're very thin. Dotson is backing up both outside linebacker positions. And then Matekovic is the primary middle linebacker backup. So I think we're going to probably see some moves there. I've said previously Barkevius Mingo would be a good versatile piece to bring into that room. But we'll see. There's still some more time in the free agency period. Plenty of time to be scouting prospects for the draft. So, but as we stand now, we've got a solid team. It's got much the same team from the AFC Championship game, so from the 2020 season. So, always looking up. You can only get better from here, right? And then a lot of those guys, so like I was alluding to earlier, breakout candidates. This is what I really want to talk about today. And I was listening to Steve Tasker in his interview with Rico, Buffalo Fanatics co-founder, Rico on the Rico Report, the Bing Squad. Great interview. It's really fun to listen to Steve Tasker. He's a brilliant analytical guy who knows the ins and outs of an NFL organization. One of the best, if not the best, special teams player of all time. It was really nice to hear him kind of break down what the Bills were looking at, but this would make me think about breakout candidates and who I think could go along with this. He said Dawson Knox, and who am I to disagree with Steve motherfucking Tasker? Should be in the Hall of Fame. Steve Tasker.
Who wouldn't you disagree with, though? This is a better question. Holy smoke.
I disagree with everybody except Steve Tasker. I say I'm always right, but he's the one that's actually always right. You can't be wrong when you're Steve Tasker.
That's, I was going to say that, but you beat me to it.
It's just the way it is. You can't fight physics. You can't fight biology. You can't fight Steve Tasker. It's just the law.
Oh, I probably couldn't. He's probably bigger than me, but just...
Yeah, like, at 50-something years old, he's still looking very fit. So like a physical fight, I would never do either.
Those kind of guys scare me, man. Like, what are you, almost 60? You still look like you whooped my ass.
Dude, those are the extra strong, too. Those are the guys, it's like, I've been consistently lifting weights for 40 years. It's just a brick wall.
I sit on my ass and look at my phone, dude. Back up.
But he pinpointed Dawson Knox as a breakout candidate. He made a lot of great points on that front. He said he lost a lot of last season. He was on the COVID restricted. He was on the COVID injury wire. I can't remember what they called it. The COVID restricted list, whatever it was. He lost some time to injury this season, so he didn't have that full development period in his full second season of the NFL. So we didn't see a lot of that development that we would hope to see in the second year, but a lot of that is contributed to his injuries, his illness for part of the season. So he lost time. On top of that, he is a converted quarterback, so it's going to take him even longer. Development as a tight end in the NFL
converted quarterback
is one of the longest positions to learn in the NFL because you have to do so much. You have to block, you have to motion, you have to be a wide receiver, you have to run good routes, you have to have good hands, you got to be athletic.
This is a position? I thought you were like, they were taking a quarterback and they're like, hey, bro, there's a better position you might want to be in.
No.
And it's like they were
no, that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
What?
They converted...
The plot thickens. What is
they
this?
Converted a quarterback into a tight end. He did it at the last year of college. Basically, what happens is a lot of guys that are really athletic in football play quarterback because that's the spot. And when you're in high school, you put the guy at the spot. But once they get into the college ranks, they're not really that good at playing quarterback, but they're super athletic. So you're like, hey, you'd probably be really good as a tight end. You'd be good as a fullback, maybe a wide receiver. So you push them out, and
yeah. Okay, so they have the QB knowledge, or at least background info, and now they can probably play other positions really well just because they see the field differently, I imagine, after playing enough.
Yeah,
QB.
well, it's like being the manager, right? So you might not have ever been the fry cook, but you've been watching the fry cook.
But now you're going to be a really good fry cook.
Hopefully. But you still got to go and you got to learn the skills of the fry cook, how to, when to flip it, when to smell, so on and so whatever the skills are. So this is what Dawson Knox...
Is that like a football term, the flipping and smelling, or is that...
We're still fry cooking.
Oh, all right. I didn't want to... I was waiting for my mind to get blown again. Yeah, dude, you flip them and you smell them. That's how interceptions work.
I like that. It's a good old flipping smell right there on the secondary. I love it.
All right. Tell me more about it.
But anyway, so he still hasn't transitioned to that skill aspect. So he knows how to play the position. He knows what it's supposed to look like. But you see that in his game where he's still getting a lot of the drops because he's not a polished pass catcher. He's not as good at high-pointing the ball or running those crisp routes where he's supposed to be because he just hasn't had the experience there. He hasn't had the time to develop that muscle memory. Mm-hmm. So what Steve Tasker's point was, and I think a lot of other people were saying this as well, is that another season, he should be breaking out this season because he's had enough time in this consistent offense with Brian Daboll.
He's going to be turning some heads.
And that'd be really exciting. If you can get him going for 700, 800 yards next season, that's going to add another weapon to an already awesome offense. Almost unstoppable. Unstoppable. And then I was talking about Justin Zimmer earlier, right?
And then Tom Brady shows up, right?
We're going to stop Tom Brady, man. I don't give a shit about Tom Brady. That geriatric little fuck.
Is that so?
Spineless spaghetti arms.
He's down there with the Buccaneers or something now. Yo-ho-ho. And
they're getting blasted drunk on a boat. Who does he think he is? Who does he think he is? But my big breakout guy, though, and I've been watching him all last season. I thought he should have rotated his way into a starting role, and I only affirmed this belief through no bias. There was no bias in this tape analysis today. But I was watching him, and every snap he took, this guy's so fucking strong. So fucking strong, so explosive. Every time he gets up out of his three-point stance, he has that lineman stood straight up. And if you know what I mean, I can't show you. It looks like I'm holding on to titties, right? So you got them underneath the pad level, and
I know.
And you have the leverage, and he can push them all around. That was every single time.
Wait, what? What are we pushing
The
around?
offensive lineman.
You lost me. I was thinking about titties. You just and your hands are moving back and forth. I'm like, I need to go change my pants
Basically
again.
what you're doing.
This is the third pair of pants on this spot.
You're going up into the lineman. You're basically, I mean, it's pad height, right? You go on the pad level, push, but it's right at the titty.
Yeah, nothing
Right
below
at the titty.
the belt.
Yeah,
Right?
you got him. You push him up. You stand him up. And this was creating pocket disruption. Every time I watched him, there was the Miami game, Week 17, where you had 54% snaps. His pocket presence contributed to 2 interceptions that game. And it was his presence in the middle playing one tech that created space for Quentin Jefferson to find a lane at Tagovailoa to rush him. And he threw 2 really bad picks, but it was because there was a bunch of pressure in his face. And that was, first things first, just being in your spot, holding down your guy, and just letting everybody else around you.
You got to break. You got to be the guy that opens the door to let the other guy run in. You know, there needs to be a good SWAT guy busting open the door.
Yes, and I think he can be a perfect. A lot of the issues with him in his career is a lot of perception, right? He's 300 pounds, 6'2". He's kind of small as far as prototypical size for a defensive tackle. Not small in real life, but they want that guy with big long arms, 325 pounds. So like, oh, he can't play one tech. He's too small. But they're ignoring the fact that he is, every time he steps on the field, he's the strongest dude on the field. A legitimate workout warrior that
for sure
translates onto the gridiron. He's also very quick and very fast. He can play 3-tech. He did a lot.
You say he's a little shorter?
6'2". I think most of those guys you want around 6'4", 6'5".
You know, I don't know. There's a little my experience with wrestling. Sometimes being a hair shorter, you get a little bit better leverage. You get under people a little bit better. If everyone's scaling up, you know what I mean? There's a point where you can race to the top a little too quick, and now there's an advantage going back down slightly. And
I think he does use that to his advantage, because watching him today, he doesn't have a lot of sophisticated next-level NFL moves to get after the quarterback to get past guys, which is another thing that people have kind of discredited him for. But like you're saying, though, he gets that leverage every single time. He uses his shorter stature, but his bulk.
Just get a little lower. Lower.
Pops right up, stands him up. Like a great double leg takedown. Just stands him right up.
Mm-hmm. Sure, I can see it now.
And I loved watching him. Every single snap I saw him take, he was just doing his job on the football field to make everybody around him better. As well as when the opportunity came to him, he doesn't force opportunities. When the opportunity came to him, he's making plays. On the season, in only like 23% of the snaps total last season, he had 1 sack, 21 total tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and 7 quarterback hits. That's really good.
Nice.
Yeah, that's really good for a guy that didn't see the field very much. So,
no.
When I say he's going to be a breakout guy, I'm not saying he's necessarily going to be like a 10 sack a year guy. I think they can start rotating him into the 1-tech role. He's creating space for Ed Oliver now to use his burst and use his natural athleticism and start getting towards quarterback.
Right. Just back. You got to have a guy that opens the door
and let him in.
Yeah.
Just a disruptor, just a guy. And I think we're going to go into the next season. We're going to see Star Lotulelei probably rolled out as the starter. Some rotation in with Vernon Butler, and we'll see Harrison Phillips. But as the season progresses, whether it's going to be injury or just seeing him play good football throughout the season, I think he's going to start taking over regular starter reps. And along with that, so then we got our other breakout candidates too. So Justin Zimmer is going to waterfall. What do you call it? Domino stuff. Whatever. Cascade. There's the word. Justin Zimmer's contribution is going to cascade into more breakout seasons from Ed Oliver, AJ Epineza on the outside. You know, you got to open the door so other people can run in. We're going to start seeing a lot more sacks from Epineza, a lot more sacks from Ed Oliver. They've got playmakers on this roster.
Ding dong. It's Ed Oliver, Melissa.
That's right. Well, dude, you want this guy to be a superstar. He rides into training camp on a horse. It's awesome. You'll just see him down like in Orchard Park, just riding his fucking horse, just living life.
That's what happens when you get rich, dude. You just get horses. That's what they don't tell you about all these NFL guys. All horse guys.
Well, that's what I want my NFL rookie. I want him buying horses. At least he's not buying like...
You want him buying horses.
You know, all those guys that go out and buy like a private jet as soon as they get their $2 million and then they're broke the next year. A horse is a good investment.
Right.
You can sell a horse back.
Right, dude. When it's broken, you just have a bunch of glue. It's good.
Exactly. So on that note, let's glue this podcast together with a nice...
Wow.
How about you, we'll send this out with your concluding thoughts first, Fred.
Well, I came into this pretty excited, and I think we talked about a lot of interesting things. I think most of the points I brought up were the most interesting, and everyone could agree with that. But yeah, all in all, I think it was good.
Yeah, I also think I had all the most interesting thoughts, and I'm the most. But yeah, I mean, I'm really pumped, man. I can't wait for football season. I love doing the podcast. Thank you guys for interacting on Twitter. Keep doing it.
I can't wait, dude. We're going to do some grilling, and we're going to be watching some football. You might watch a bit more than me, but I'll be there.
Uninformed Fred, you're going to watch every game this season. You're going to have to. You're obligated now. You're doing a Bills podcast, so you have to watch every game. You're going to watch them open the doors and sack the quarterback.
I'm in.
All right. So that's all we have for you on this episode of the Bills Blitzkrieg podcast. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Bills Blitzkrieg. Like and subscribe on YouTube where we're going to post this. Like and subscribe. Smash that like button. Hit subscribe. Visit our website at billsblitzkrieg.com. And if you provide us some good material on Twitter, like we did today, we'll read it out in there. So everyone likes a little shout out. You got a podcast you want to shout out? We do it for free. This is free marketing, guys. All you have to do is disagree. All you have to do is fight with me on Twitter. It's fun. I'm not mean. I'm not going to yell at you. So anyways, thank you for listening. Have a good day. Let's go Bills.